What's up, everybody? It's Carpo, and the question I have for the day is, why do so many people have to complain about everything? It just gets so old. I try to keep myself in a frame of mind where I'm not pointing the finger. I try not to be accusatory, or I call things as I see them. If I see a person, of course, causing someone else grief, I'm going to speak up. If I see that there's an issue going on in society that needs to be addressed, I'm going to speak up on that issue. This is usually issues that I've done a little bit of research on, that maybe I can find a balance of, turn that down, find a general balance of information, looking at the situation from both sides. And what I've noticed over the years is that some people don't want to do that. They want to complain. They really very much enjoy complaining about everything. And I'm not talking about just societal issues. They're complaining because they have a bad connection on their phone. They're complaining because this pothole in the road that needs to be fixed for so long, or they should have fixed this, or say, oh, it blew my tire out on a pothole, it's the city's fault, and all mad at the city. I'm trying to think of examples off the top of my head here, but why can't this be this way? Why can't this be this way? Why can't people just do this? Why can't people just do this? My answer to that is because people don't. Okay? People are what people are. This is nothing new. It's not that modern society has got to some point where we've lost our way. Humans have always been lost. And I know that we like to glamorize ancient history as if these people had it all together. Their cities were great. Everybody was walking around philosophizing and understanding and learning and knew everything about plants and each other. The fact is, there were ghettos, there were thieves, there were murderers, there were liars, rapists. It goes on and on and on, and there have always been complainers too. And so the ideal society sometimes that we have in our mind, I think, is just a pipe dream. It's something we really think that that should exist. But when you really consider the truth of it, and really look into what humans are about, we all come from so many different backgrounds. We all have so much in common. Yet we tend to dwell on the things that we don't have in common. So it goes from complaining about society, or complaining about the pothole in the road, or complaining about this building is going up here, or why didn't they put another path here? Looking at every situation, saying, why isn't this way? Why didn't they do it this way? People are so dumb. They should have done this. And living life like that must be miserable. It must be utterly miserable. Because the world I see around me is definitely not what it could be. But that doesn't mean that it's a pit. It doesn't mean it's a disaster. People get to the point where they're so defeatist, they basically see humanity as a scourge. And the way I see it is that, and I hate to say it, but that's a reflection. I feel like that the way a person views society and others is nothing more than a projection of the way that they see themselves, whether they know it or not. It's often a very subconscious thing. A person's unhappy, so they want to blame society's problems for their problems. And sometimes this is, things that happen, decisions that are made in society do affect individuals in a way that they shouldn't. And those aren't the things I'm talking about, like bad laws that are passed or anything like that. When a person has a legitimate complaint of something that can be changed, then they have the right to speak up. But that's really what it comes down to, is to think about what you're going to complain about. Is it something that can be changed? And if it is something that's can be changed, is it something you can change? And, there are a lot of us out here speaking our minds on issues. I've talked about certain issues that bother me in life, certain problems with society, with the government, with the military, and with people in general. But to constantly be complaining about it It's the same as judgment. It's the judgment that we put on other people, because it's the same people that I see complaining about everything in life are the ones that are also pointing at other people and saying, look at this person, look at how they're living, or why can't this person be this way? And this is how relationships are destroyed. This is how a husband and wife, they get married. They're married for a year or so, and then they realize that they didn't really, they may have been different, but they had this subconscious idea that they'd be able to change each other. And that's why I love, my relationship with my wife is strong, I believe, because we accept and tolerate each other's differences, and we embrace our commonalities. And that's especially important with anybody you live with. If you can't get along with your own, spouse or your own kids or your own family, then you can't really get along with anybody. It's a reflection of how you function in a society. So I have many flaws, and when people point those out, I'm on it. Like if I'm talking with a family member and they say they express concern about some in particular, I don't really have many things that people, tell me that I don't. My family doesn't really mention much, but I am an intense person. How about that one? I talk a lot. I like to learn. I like to do stuff. I have this, my aunt and I are very much similar in that regards. We have this kind of ADD, OCD, just like tackle a subject and get into it and get really into a project. And that's the part of my personality which I use to my advantage. I've processed things fast, not just mentally, but like everything is quick for me. I like to do things quickly. I like to work fast. I like to work hard. I like to get stuff done when I'm doing stuff. And I have worked with people, let's say, that aren't like that. They're much more tedious, perhaps, but maybe they're more consistent. And so, even though the people are different, I can't sit here and say, you need to work faster. And I've even had people tell me I need to work slower. But, it's because they don't want to be, they feel like they're not getting enough done. The reality is that's just, I guess, an example of how different forms of working in the workplace, they all fit together to get the job done. And everybody who points and tells everybody else how they should be, it's either a reflection of their self and their own discomfort, or it's a misunderstanding of the fact that people just are different. I don't know why it's so hard for people to get past that. And it's like people get obsessed with movie stars and start worrying about their lives and what's going. Who gives a damn what's going on with, Tom Cruise or Ellen or whoever's on television at the moment, and people are talking about whatever kind of, I don't really watch TV. I don't watch the news as far as, I don't watch commercials, so I don't really know. But from the years when I did, and it's especially disturbing to me when I click on a news channel, like let's say I'm online and I flip to CNN or something just to see what's the headline, and it's always the same. It's always pointing the finger at somebody or something or some group, and it's just this constant bashing of each other. These people are this person's that, and I feel really sorry for people who spend their lives worrying about other people and how they are, and telling other people how they should be. And it's a judgment that comes from a discomfort, with knowing oneself, or lack of knowing one's self. And that may sound harsh, but it's the reality as I see it, I feel very confident in my life that the decisions I make may not always be the right ones, but that everything will work itself out in the end, as long as I'm consciously aware of what I'm doing. But I definitely try to keep myself open, to the fact that people are just people, and situations are situations, and we all encounter them. And there's nothing more annoying than when people say life isn't fair. It's like, fair compared to what? What are you basing this on? You're talking about fair compared to the billions of people on the earth and who are starving? Or are you comparing it as fair to the 1% who has all the wealth? What exactly is fair? Show me the group of people. Show me a large group of people who are consistently happy, every single one of them, and completely tolerant of each other, and everyone gets along. It just doesn't exist in this society that we have today. There's division, there's difference. And I think that the sooner we embrace that and stop pointing out flaws in each other when we have so many flaws in ourselves, you know, or at least work on the flaws together. You know what I mean? People get together and say, "Oh, well, I have this problem." And the person says, "Oh, I have this problem too." And they start competing to see whose problem is worse. It's either competition or it's I don't know. It goes on and on, but people are people. And I think people need to learn to have a little bit more tolerance for the fact that we don't understand a person's life. We don't know where a person came from. We don't know what happened in their childhood. But of course, they can't use that as an excuse, to be the way that they are. But anyway, just some thoughts. Judgment, it's a tough bitch. And we seem to have an issue in getting past it. We always want to make things perfect for us and fit everything in a little box, and life just is not that way. Life is complicated. Peace.